Welcome to Moonlight Madness, third attempt. We are doing the star sign. We just did fire, sun, moon and rising, and it's an interesting thing that happened. I did fire signs about 3 days ago. I think it was near Christmas, and I said fire in the video, and then I sat near a box, this electrical box I think it was, near the front of Katara, the shopping centre. And literally a fire started right next to me. I was sitting there, minding my own business, waiting for a bus. And what happened? It caught on fire. It was just a natural disaster, just left a field. You can't tell me that the law of attraction doesn't operate every single day. It's what we put out there, what we write, what we speak, what we tell ourselves. What script do we have running in our head that tells us that we're never going to make anything of ourselves, or that we're never going to succeed in life because someone else told us that that's not doable, because that's not the normal thing to do, because society dictates to us that we have to fit into a certain race, color, creed, religion. I just don't. I can't stand hypocrites. And a lot of those people that are in these groups can be hypocritical. I'm just a bit different. Now, this card just flew out after I was talking about writing a wish down. 9 of Cups is writing down a wish, whether it be for a job, a house, a boyfriend, a new partner, happiness. If you write it down on a piece of white paper and stick it under a full moon, you'll attract what is that you're after, what you hope to achieve, what you hope to attract. You will attract it by just simply writing it down and putting energy into it. I have a girl who I worked with, and she had a really bad headache. This was a couple of weeks ago, and I was picking up with it, and I went home with this massive migraine, thinking, God, who in the building has a bad, is a stress head and has a bad head? And I asked, and it was one of the ones that worked out the back. It's a stressful job, and she does a good job, but she's very good at what she does. And she was stressed out, and I obviously picked up on it, And then there was another girl who had a sore neck. I was walking around with this neck that was really sore. I'm thinking, whose energy is this? Turns out it was the girl that was standing next to me. She had pinched a nerve in her neck the night before when she was sleeping, and I was feeling it, and I was just like, what's going on with your neck? And she's like, oh, I pulled a muscle. So I sat with her and I fixed it, because I'm a beauty therapist, so I knew where the nerve was. I went straight to where the problem was, because I can see it in my mind's eye. I don't even have to be told. She just said it's in my neck. I went, yeah, it's right about here, and I started massaging her neck. It was down her trapezium muscle, from her staphenoid down to her trapezium. So it was just interesting. Okay, so I've pulled out a bunch of cards. My first card, this is the Rainbow Runner, the crystals I'm using today. The Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine is the deck I'm using. And the Fairy Oracle by Lucy Cavendish and Selena Fennick. The crystals are from Rainbow Runner, as I just said. The first card I pulled is the 9 of Wands. This is about standing up for Mother Nature. This is about being a wilderness warrior, if you will. So you may be standing up for Mother Nature. Environmental conservation. You may be environmental conservationist. You may care about the waters and the oceans and the fish and our food supply. You may be just worried about all of those things. You may be just one of those people that is conservative when it comes to water and saving things. Like, I recycle everything I get. I got a Vegemite box that had boxer shorts in it from where I work, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to throw it out. I brought it home, and it's now my coin jar. I got one for my son, and I got one for me, and I've made it a coin jar. And it's practical. It's really pretty. It's beautiful artwork. I wouldn't dream of throwing that out. It was too pretty, so I kept it. And so they've got a coin jar that says Harry Potter on it now. They both will. So it's funny. So what I've just pulled out is that you're trying to start your own business. Some of you are, like I am. It's slow, but it's steady. I'm getting people that are liking my page more and starting to get my numbers up a little bit more. But it's, I guess it's a lot of work. I didn't realize how much work went into this when I started it out as a blog. It's now a vlog. So it's talking about feeling like you're in a prison, a self-imposed prison. So you can jump from that iceberg to the next iceberg, but you choose not to, because in your mind, you're in a jail. So don't put yourself in a jail. Get out with people. Don't think that you can't do it just because someone tells you can't do it. You have what it takes if you just believe in yourself. Thinking you're powerless when you're not, a lack of self-confidence that keeps you from getting what you want. Yeah, this was scary for me, going on in front of a camera. I don't do cameras. I don't like cameras, but I just figured I need to maybe put a name to a face. So when I'm doing the readings, you've got not just hands. In the past, it says you may have had a massive meltdown. In the past, it's saying. So this is for water. I'm guessing this is a water reading. You may have had a life change, a shake-up. It might have been a flood, or it might have been, a natural disaster. But it's talking about moving, leaving old life structures behind. I know I did. I moved state about 7 years ago. I moved from Brisbane to New South Wales. That was a big, big tower moment for me. And it's like everything piled up, and I was losing my job because of people that were judgmental of who I was and what I did. And because I was not, married, I was a single parent. I dabbled in tarot. They thought I was crazy. They was scared of what I did. They went on a giant witch hunt for me, which was wrong, because it's discrimination, right? And that's what their protocol was when I signed the documents to take the job on. I beat 7,000 applicants for the job. Is that you don't discriminate, race, politics, religion, yet they discriminated against me from within the actual company, which is really bad. Like, they've broken their own rules, pretty much. In the past, you may have had to be separated from people you loved, places and things. That's heartbreak. That's severe heartbreak. It's like having people ripped away from you. You may have had a death in the family, or someone who you were once close to died. I can honestly say that, I lost someone. I lost someone very dear to me back in 2019. We were supposed to be married. We would have been married, but he died in a car accident, and I didn't know about it till 2020, because I had no control of my Facebook account. My kids had taken over my Facebook account, and I didn't know anything that had happened, because I'd been through some horrific stuff myself. I had a near-death experience. I had a mental breakdown. My best friend did some awful things to me, and I ended up in a psych ward because they didn't believe what I'd seen. I had seen COVID, and I'd seen it when I went through this huge seizure, like an epileptic seizure, and I saw my life flash before me. I was leaving the building. I pretty much left the building. I had a near-death experience, and then when I came back with this knowledge of COVID and of Black Lives Matters, and I was hiding in my room, scared to come out of the house. I would clean for 6 hours a day because I was too scared to leave the house, because I was seeing dead people that had passed over many years before that. My mum's neighbour, Mr. Herrival, who never tied his shoelaces, was walking around where I lived. I could see him, but he's dead, right? My son had to take me out for walks like a dog, like a cat, go for a walk, because I was too scared to leave the house, because I was seeing all these dead people. And so, it talks about loss of someone. It's taken me 3 years to get over it. He appeared to me on a bus near my birthday. He chose to come through near my birthday. It was 2020, and his mouth was stitched up. Dead, right? And he wanted to talk to me. I don't know what about, but he just did. He recently came through to me back in early December, because I think that's when he passed away, the 19th. And he came through to me, and I'd had a fight with my son, and he just stood there and he stared at me. He said, "It's okay. Your job's done. Your job's done. You've been a really good mum. They're fully grown." And I said, "Oh, but I upset with my son." He goes, "Look, they'll come back to you when they have their own children, and they'll come back and be your little boys again in their own way." and you've done a good job. And he hugged me, and I went to walk away. I was crying, right? I turned back, he was gone. I had a visitation from him. I told a friend of mine who's religious, and she believes it. She believes that he visited me to say sorry. You know, he was asking for forgiveness, I think. And the reason I saw him is because I had a ring on that was my grandmother's. She was wearing that ring when I was dating him at the time, and that's how I was able to see him, because I pick up on jewelry. I read some jewelry. I do psychometry. I astral travel. I see things long before they happen. I get daydreams through the day all the time now. And I put my sunglasses on so I don't see those daydreams. I've been reading books on how to control them. And so what I find between 11 and 1 is when most of my daydreams occur, when I get too hot. I haven't had enough water that day. I saw Matthew Perry before I guess when he passed over. He came through to me a couple of weeks ago. This is the same time around when I had the vision of my ex-boyfriend, Matt. And he stood there and he was looking at me. And I was getting picked up that day from work from my boys, and I saw him like he was standing there. And I didn't speak to him because I knew he wasn't. Obviously, it's not Matthew Perry's not in where I worked, and it really upset me. And I come out of work, and my son had told me, "Oh, Matthew Perry passed away." I went, "Yeah, I already know." And he said, "How do you know?" I said, "I saw him standing in my shop," and I was violently ill after I had that dream. It was so real because I really loved Matthew Perry. I was a huge fan. I used to watch it with my friend when I was young. So that's the sort of things I do. So wishes are going to come true. Something you've been praying for. Your fairy godmother is actually upstairs looking after you. She's your number one guardian angel, and she's guarding and guiding you through this transitionary period of what the awakened people are coming out with. And there's lots of psychic mediums that have predicted things, like COVID. I know there is, and I'm pretty sure the world's famous psychic medium, Matthew Coombs, what's his name? Mitchell Coombs, told me that my grandmother is actually my number one guardian angel, and they're fighting upstairs over me. So when I wore the ring that my grandmother gave me, she said to me, "My name's not Elizabeth." I said, "What is it?" She said, "It is Alicia, which is God's promise." So it's like a Hebrew name, a Jewish name. She said the English term is Elizabeth, but it's actually Alicia, and that was coming from the ring. I was picking that energy up. It says you're part of a spiritual community. It's called unity. Rely that your community will support you during this time. Your family might not agree with what you do, but you've got a spiritual minded community that you can talk about these things with. I went to Rainbow Runner to get my new cards for this year, but they had shut down. The website said they were open, but they had actually shut. So I was disappointed. I wanted to read the new deck for the new year, but I'll have to wait till he opens up. It says who is around you is a high priestess right now. You may have people that have passed over, like the Delphi Oracle, people that are channeling messages through you. You're just the vessel. I keep saying that. I'm just the vessel. No, I'm not amazing. I'm just channeling messages from people that have passed over, like the Delphi, Oracle of Delphi. I think she was known as the Oracle. So I just pass the messages on from people that have passed over that want to get messages through to their loved ones. So people that have died want to say, "Look, hey, I want to get a message through to such and such." And I get future visions like 10 years in front for people that I care for. I have to connect to you on a heart-centered way, otherwise I can't connect. It says you need to do more meditation or walks. You need to consult with a psychic medium. I want to go see another psychic because I'd like to get their take on what I do. Mitchell Coombs was the last psychic I went to, and he was brilliant. Everything he said was spot on, and it's come true so far. So the High Priestess is talking about trusting your intuition, careful reflection, and go see a psychic medium. Or there's one around you. And it's saying here in people around you, it affects your hopes and fears, is to be creative, energetic. You may have someone around you who's a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarian around you. They're fun people. You may have Sagittarius in your chart. I know I've got a Sagittarius moon in my chart. They're fun. They like to sing, dance, create, draw. They're just like ADHD kids. They just bounce off walls. It's time to go after your dreams. Do something that expands your horizons. Let your creativity take flight. So you need to draw more. You need to create more. You need to sing more. You need to write more. You need to exercise those creative muscles because your body is screaming out for a release of that creativity. If it's not channeled correctly, it can go internally and it can self-combust. That's when I start to see things. Usually it's because I haven't used my ability that day. I will go looking for what's going to come to find me in my sleep. I astral travel to see what's coming at me or for me. So I'm looking to stop bad events happening. I'm always looking into the future to prevent things harming me. That's how this ability started. I was 2-year-old. I was walking around. I was sleepwalking. I was woken up in a lather of sweat, and I was found on the bathroom floor because I was sleepwalking. I was acting out a nightmare, and the nightmare was this monster was chasing me when I was 2. In the future, you will have your own business. You will reward yourself for all your hard work and being happily and successfully self-employed and cherishing your alone time. Yeah, that's what I hope to do. My goal for 2024 is to do this full time. But also I'd like to do some Reiki, and I'd like to do some healing in a setup that I've got my bed, which is in the corner. Get my natural oils happening, get my blends happening, my lavender and my rose, which is good for blood pressure. I usually put it on my wrist before I go to work because I need to chill myself out in order to read the energy in the room. I'm trying to avoid reading energy, but it's too strong. People that are younger, especially younger ones, younger girls I work with, I pick up so much off them because they're open. We shut down our abilities when we grow up, generally, but some children don't grow up. Some children, I'm a big kid at heart, I believe I am, and I think that's why my ability is so strong, because I see things as a child would. I didn't switch that off. Children sense things early. Children and animals are very psychic. So the cards that I pulled today is just saying that you need to let yourself out of your self-imposed prison, be who you are, be that expressive, fun personality that you are, and don't hide your light, is what it's saying for water signs. Get out there and do your thing. That's all I have for water. Sun, moon, and rising. I haven't done the oracle. So the oracle card I'm going to pick today is from the Fairy Oracle by Lucy Cavendish and Selena Fenwick. It's a nice deck. Okay. Oh, that just jumped out straight off the bat. Cry for nature. It's really talking about nature. Yeah, I do find that nature is very healing for me. If I don't get outside in nature, I don't cope very well. It's a good way for me to wind down my spidey senses because I get impressions when I'm walking, usually from my kids, depending on what I'm wearing. If I'm wearing my son's shoes, like he's got these orange Nike shoes, whenever I wear them, I tap straight into his energy. The same as my son's ring. He's given me this ring. It's a little opal. Got it last Christmas. And I can always tap into my son when I wear it. So I always know how he's actually going, what's happening for him. I get future visions for him by wearing his ring. Cut the deck in two. We have the Littlest Fairy. Okay. Yep. I said yesterday I wish I wasn't so small. Good things come in small packages. Barnabas and the Prince. All right. So the first card we've got is Cry for Nature. It's number 8. Mourning for something sacred which seems lost. You can see how sad the fairy being is here and how she weeps from what was cut down before its time had come. The old tree represents knowledge that was once held sacred. Now with its destruction and murder, she faces a time of deep grief. In your life too, there may have been what caused you deep grief when something that feels like a part of you has been taken away, well before its time has come. The grief you must feel must be honoured and expressed and felt, for then healing can take place. There is no shame in weeping for what seems to be lost. The tears are the water that brings new life. So do not feel you must hold back. This card indicates deep sadness and inner frustration on behalf of the questioner. It's confronted with the enslavement of the environment, animals, marine life, and elemental life to man's needs. Yeah. Overcome institutionalized brutalizations of our flora and fauna and of our earth. You may feel as though you fight this good fight, that you are barely making any progress at all, and you are restricted. But the efforts you make will do more than change things. They will make you very strong, and you will send a rippling effect throughout the world, often without even knowing what has inspired us. Do not underestimate the impact you can have. It's saying here, a person who loves where they are, this planet, this person may be passionate about animals, nature, trees, and protecting the earth. The person realized that there as a child, when faced with the ageless wisdom of the creatures of this wonderful blue and green planet, human wisdom is but one form. The being who has drawn this card is one with great elemental energy, who can help rid the environment of toxic poisons and environmental pollutions. Yeah. In the same way you can help to heal toxic energy in places or in others, you may find you have a talent for clearing the karma of the environment. This card is about the divine protection that magical planet enjoys from its special earth warriors. Yeah. Being responsible with packaging, recycle it. Water. Be careful with the amount of water you use. I don't wash clothes in the washing machine. I hand wash all my stuff. It's been conservative in some respects, but most of the time I do it because I don't want to pick up other people's energy, because I could put my clothes in with someone else's where they've washed their clothes. I have a shared studio apartment. Whenever I wash my clothes, it's been in someone's area, I guess you'd call it. I put my clothes where their clothes have been. I do a reading. I don't mean to, but I do. I don't mean to trespass on people's thoughts either, but I can't shut off what I do now. It's number 20. I keep seeing the man that lives downstairs. He's actually quite psychic as well. His great aunt read me when I was a little girl. My mum took me to a psychic medium because she couldn't understand why I was always hot and how come I was sleepwalking. She couldn't understand what was wrong with me. She thought there was something wrong with me. And the psychic medium said, nothing wrong with your child. She's actually a very magical, special child. And you just have to be patient with her. She's going to be very psychically gifted. And she's going to do something amazing one day. I saw COVID. So thanks to her, Mrs. Whitaker, I think her name was. Well, that's her nephew that lives downstairs. She was very psychic. It's his auntie. The Littlest Fairy. Okay, so we've got number 20. A delicious small sense of scale. Natural beauties that may only last a few minutes. The dew on the grass, a rainbow in a crystal. A brief and gentle breeze on a warm summer's day. A reflection on water, a delicious strawberry and a flower in bloom. A light moving on the periphery of your vision. All these things are precious. Make an offering and be thankful and generous. Keep things small and beautiful. Something needs to be miniature to be the right size. Do not criticize something. A little tendril of a new plant pushing through the soil, but not being large in size yet. Break down a task into smaller components and take baby steps. Give thanks for small steps along the way. Know that over the magic of time, small things grow. Know that some things are better for being small. They're not meant to be big. They're tiny. They are treasures being pushed to make something bigger, louder, and more noticeable. Small is the way to go from now. That's how I believe. I just think start small, work your way up. Any business has to grow. It takes time and nurturing. 11. Barnabas and the Prince, the journey, explorer, seeker, wanderer, hero of your dreams, meeting destiny. He will come along. A vacation, a success, or purposeful activity is reaching out for you now, just as you reached out for it. Use the power of your voice to call out for it. Let the world and the natural world know that you wish for them to deliver, and seeking out a mate. Actively searching for a soulmate, searching for you. Synchronicity. In order for you to be in alignment with your dream, for your dream to dream you must be walking the right path, be in the right place at the right time. So this card reminds you that staying in the present comfort zone will not bring about changed activity or what your heart yearns for. You must be active and creative. It reminds you that travel and adventure can bring about soul growth that will let your soul grow stronger. And in this way, your soul kind can find you. Have no fear. The drought will be broken, but you must be an adventurer. Your tears will cleanse the way. You will change several times throughout this lifetime, reincarnating within one life. You do not need to die to go home or be with the one you love. What kind of transport do you use? It may be time for a rethink. And that's all I have for you today for Water, Sun, Moon and Rising.